Hello fellow makeup lovers, how are you guys doing today? I thought we could do a chatty get ready with me. I pulled out a bunch of products to do like a really fresh, glowy, creamy skin look. I don't know why I said creamy, that sounds weird. And then I also have the Bella Beauté Bar Basic Witch Palette, which is just stunning. I really wanted to do another look on camera for y'all, so I figured we could play with that today. And I was recently thinking about how long I've been on YouTube and all the things that I wish I had done differently. I feel like I'm very much a no regrets kind of person, but sometimes, you know, you can't help but look back and think like, oh, I wouldn't have done that, or I would have done this differently. And I just thought we could talk about all of my regrets over the last 8 years. Just, you know, a little self-awareness. Chatty, get ready with me. Let's jump on in. I'm gonna start off with the Natasha Denona Face Glow Primer. I really like this, but I keep forgetting to use it. It's a really moisturizing base, but I always forget to use it just because I haven't been into primers in so long. I feel like my biggest regret, the one that like came to my mind first, is any time that I used to post a video that was like a little bit more ranty, or I was just really emotional. I wish that sometimes I had taken 24 hours to really think about a video and like whether I wanted to post it or not versus just like going for it. I feel like I have these moments nowadays where I'm like, oh, should I talk about this? And then I'm like, you know what, this is a little risky, maybe a little shady, I don't know. And I'm like, let me just think about it for 24 hours. I'm not even gonna film it right away because it's just the vibes will be all wrong. And majority of the time I end up deciding not to post or not to film whatever it was I was thinking about. So I regret like rushing into videos in the past. So I'm going in with the Kosas foundation. My most recent example would be that I wanted to do a video about the problems with reviewing on YouTube, and it stemmed from being upset. But then I literally put that idea on the back burner for months, and then I did end up filming it as like a chatty get ready with me. And I feel like it was just like a much calmer, more balanced, more level-headed, and I was happy with it. And I posted it because I feel like I took the time to be secure in what I was saying and like to be able to stand behind it. And I feel like in the past, there's times where I've, you know, felt one way, but I didn't necessarily think it all the way through. And like once you put something on the internet, it's forever. And like even if there's videos that I've privated, like people can remember what you said, people can remember what you did or how you acted, and you know, it might not necessarily truly reflect who you are. So yeah, that's something I do not ever want to do again, is to just like rush and post an emotional video. I'm looking at my skin, I'm like, damn, it looks really good. I'm like, what's different? And then I just realized it's the fact that I've been using skin tints nonstop, and this is my first time using a foundation in what feels like forever. And I can definitely see the difference. I mean, there's just so much more coverage. I'm like, where did my freckles go? I'm gonna start off with the Rare Beauty bronzer stick in the shade Power Boost. Okay. And then I'm also gonna use the Halo Glow Beauty Wand from e.l.f., the contour one in the shade Fair Light, to get some contour, some definition going. So these aren't like in any particular order, but this next regret is like another really big one. I'm not gonna go too in depth. I've done a whole video before on my regrets on this, but I would say one of my biggest regrets is viewing my relationship with brands as a friendship versus a business, and like not having things in contracts when I should have, because I just trusted people, and I can be a little bit naive, and I believe in the best in people, and I believe that people aren't gonna screw you over, but the truth is that sometimes they will. So even if you have a friendship, you still need to cover your own ass. Like that's just what it is. Like I will never do anything without a contract again. I do feel like it's particularly hard with like my niche. I work with so many indie brands because like they are small businesses, and I am normally talking to the owner, and it does feel more personal. So, like some of the boundaries aren't as black and white, and I just have to be careful about it. I have to catch myself sometimes, like even if it feels uncomfortable. This next regret is kind of a funny one because like when other people do it, I don't judge them, but when it comes to me, like it's like my personal pet peeve against myself because like I know I'm not the best at it. So basically I regret all of the times that I said I would do a video and then I didn't. And I just feel like it's annoying because it's like I'm like hyping something up like, oh, like I'm gonna work on this or do this, and then I just never posted it. My biggest one Like, I don't know what's wrong with me. It drives me crazy when I think about it. I said that I was going to dupe out the Natasha Denona gold palette for y'all. This was literally years ago. It was like probably 4 years ago at this point. And I went through and I did dupe out the entire palette, and I had like single shades of everything. And then I just never filmed the video. I'm like, why? Why am I like this? And I mean, I feel like I try to be better nowadays with like not promising things. More often I'm just like, would you guys like to see this? I hate being someone who doesn't keep my word, even if it's as simple as like, oh, like I'm gonna get that video done, and then like it just never happens. And like I said, I don't get annoyed when other people do it. I'm like, you're busy, you had this, like other things became a priority, like totally understandable. Like it's a weird creative job, and like some things just like there's ebbs and there's flows, and I'll totally understand someone else, but when it's me, I'm like, why are you like this, Amy? I don't think I've ever had anyone comment anything negative about it. Majority of things on this list I've definitely got constructive criticism about. This one I haven't. Moving on to having a glowy cheek, I'm gonna go into the Nearly Rose blush from Rare Beauty because it's such a pretty pink. And then I thought I might also layer a little bit of the Melt highlighter. This is in the shade Fetish on top for like a little soft pinky glow moment. So my next regret is being judgmental, especially about things that literally have nothing to do with me. Like I feel like I used to be more judgmental about like what people were buying and what brands people were supporting. It depends on what it is. There's definitely boundaries, but at the same time, I've wasted so much energy being judgmental of things that just don't affect me, don't have anything to do with me. And also maybe just that I was being like a little bit closed-minded. I was judgmental about topics that are more nuanced, but I was looking at them from just one side and from just one point of view and running with it. And like, that's just genuinely not how anything is in life. I don't want to blame it on my age, but sometimes I do feel like it's just like when you're really young and you think you know everything kind of vibe. I posted my first video on this channel before I was even 18. Like I was fresh out of the womb. So one of my biggest regrets on YouTube, but like something that really taught me a lesson, is that like personally, I will never go on Reddit or like beauty community Reddit. And I don't want this to come off as judgmental because I'm sure there's a lot of awesome people on there who are just like sharing swatches and like sharing their experiences and talking about brands and whatnot. But there's also a lot of people out there who are just incredibly hateful, and they're just like looking for other people who hate whatever YouTuber as much as they do. I was sent a thread on Reddit that was about me, and like they were like, oh, people are being so nice. I opened it, and yes, majority of people are being so nice. But someone who hates me with a passion said something so awful, so terrible. I genuinely couldn't believe it, but it was a lesson to me that's like, that space is just not for me. I'm not gonna be there. If someone has something they wanna say to me, my DMs are open, my comment section is open, my community tab is there. Like if you have something you wanna say to me, you can say it to me. And it was such an awful thing to say that it made me realize that people have no boundaries. That people will literally take anything in your life, even bringing your children into it, and say the most god-awful shit. By the way, I'm going with a Flower Beauty concealer. I'm gonna do another layer. I know people love this, but I don't know that I 100% understand the hype. Like, I think it's nice, but I'm not obsessed. I'm just not about it. I will never Google my name, anything like that. And also, not even just that, it was when I saw my friends' names and like I saw people talking about my friends, like people that I've met in real life who are genuine, amazing, like just awesome women, and then like to see people talking shit about them, that makes me even more mad than people talking shit about me. It's like, you don't even know what you're talking about. Like, that person is kind, that person is down to earth, sweet, open, welcoming to everyone, and you are just miserable and nasty. So I'm gonna go into my brows with the Mad For You brow palette from Sydney Grace in the shade Blonde. Just gonna fill in my brows real quick. Something that didn't occur to me until more recently, I want to say like in the last year or so, something that I was doing that I just feel like I was trying to be fair to everyone, but really I was being unfair to myself. And that is that I was not protecting my comment space and like protecting my personal peace. When people would leave nasty comments, like I was like, I'm just gonna be kind to them. Like I'm gonna hear what they have to say. Like I would just try to reply so respectfully and like try to understand where they're coming from. And, you know, if someone's being genuine and they have constructive criticism, like that's still what I'm going to do. But I just feel like at this point, like people don't want their minds changed. They just want to say something to you and they just want to say what they want to say. They don't care what you have to say and they're just going to be nasty about it. And personally, I'm over it. Like I'm over being respectful to trolls. I actually think it's kind of ironic the amount of hate that I've gotten since I said that like I'm no longer religious. Basically, long story short, I am all about the block button now. I feel like I'll respond back once, I'll give someone a chance, and if they're just continuing to be nasty, I'm like, you're gone. You don't get to be on here anymore. I mean, you can watch my videos, but like I don't want to read your comments and I don't want other people reading your comments when that's the vibes you're putting out. I feel like in the past, I would only block someone if they were doing the absolute most, like full on like calling me a bitch and like different things like that. Then I would be like, okay, I'll block you. But I would leave people who were being nasty. And you know, I think one of my favorite features of YouTube now is that when someone leaves a comment, you can actually see how long they've been a subscriber, what comments they've left before. And like sometimes I'll see someone leave a comment, I'm like, ooh, that was a little rude. Like, am I imagining this? And I'll check and I can see that every comment they've ever left was negative. And I'm like, okay, block. But then also I can check and I can see that they've left positive comments, they've left neutral comments, and like maybe this person like actually has something I should really listen to. And I do. So I love that about YouTube now. Okay, so finally getting into eyeshadow. I'm so excited. I kind of want to do a look like really focusing on these two shades on my lid and then maybe doing a pop of these two on the inner corner and lower lash line. That was my plan. So another regret that I have would be sharing things in my life that I wasn't ready to be criticized for, or like just things that I wasn't comfortable with people having an opinion on, which I feel like saying it out loud, it sounds kind of obvious, but bear with me for a second. But what I mean is that sometimes I would share like, oh, this is what I'm going through right now, or this is where I'm at. And then people would take that and run with it and say what they want about it. I thought that I was being vulnerable, but unless you're like fully ready to share what you're talking about and you're ready for people to take it and like make their own version of events, then I wouldn't talk about it basically. So I just feel like what I've learned and like what I've regretted is sharing things about my life that like I want to hold near and dear to me and I just don't want anyone else's opinion on. You know, I don't really talk about my child that much. I will talk about my pets because I mean they're pets, but even that people still have opinions about, which doesn't bother me as much, which is why I'll talk about it. But like, you guys have never even heard the name of my man. Like maybe one day you will. It's not like it's some secret, but I just don't really care to have anyone's opinions. A good example of this is when I posted that my partner and I were moving in together, I had someone message me and ask me if my parents knew. Like, yeah, they do. Why don't you mind your own business? Thanks. I feel like in a way that's also protecting my personal peace, just because, you know, things take time to process. You just cannot give all of yourself to the internet. I definitely feel like there is a balance to it because like I want you guys to know who I am as a person. And I do feel like it's important to share about like your struggles and like make sure that we all don't feel alone and that we know that other people are going through what we're going through. Like for example, when I did a video on going through domestic violence, like I have zero regrets. I will never take that video down, even though like nowadays, if I were to do that video again, like it would be completely different. I mean, because I feel like it's so important to share your story and I don't have any regrets with that. I did have someone I was dating a while ago creep on my YouTube channel and watch that video and then tell me about it, and it made me so uncomfortable. I was like, that could have been a conversation that we had. You didn't have to watch my YouTube video. I don't know, I thought that was weird. I regretted it for a second then. I feel like I just got so distracted, but what I was trying to say is that I feel like it's a balance between being vulnerable, but also not sharing too much. And I know there's other people that like I watch their videos and I see what they post, and like sometimes they're going through something that I'm going through, but that I'm not like ready to share or talk about. And it's a great comfort. It really is, to feel like you're not alone. So I appreciate that so much. Definitely just like a simple fall look, but I think it's so, so cute. I'm gonna go with the KVD Beauty full sleeve mascara just to finish off the look. I love applying mascara. Like, I think it's so boring, but when you finish, I feel like it just brings your eye look together so much. So my last regret that I have to speak about, which I've actually talked to you guys about before, is that I feel like for a long time I wasn't being myself, and it was never about being fake, but it was more so about changing as a person, but then like feeling like I had to be who I was on YouTube and like not being able to be 100% my authentic self because I just didn't know how people would take it. It feels weird to say, but I feel like a completely different person. Like, how do I explain this? The real tea is that when I left Pennsylvania and I moved to North Carolina, I was leaving a job where I worked at a church and I faced discrimination because I was a woman. And I was treated terribly, and it was one of the worst, most humiliating experiences of my life. I was just treated like I was like, oh, I can't even go into the details, you guys. As someone who grew up in religion, grew up believing a certain way, it changed everything for me. I just realized that I wanted something different out of life. I wanted to do my best to be a good person, but also I wanted to live life and enjoy life with passion and without shame. And I wanted to feel good in my body and feel good having fun and feel good in relationships and like not have all of this shame that I feel like I was literally like taught from childhood of who I'm supposed to be and what I'm supposed to do and how I'm supposed to live. I just felt like behind the scenes I was completely different, but I was like, I'm just talking about makeup, like it's not that big of a deal, like just keep doing what I do. But then I feel like I was getting burnt out because I wasn't being me. That's a huge regret, is that I didn't have all of these realizations sooner, and that I didn't implement them sooner and just be like, fuck it, just be yourself, instead of like worrying so much. I was about to do my outro and I just realized I don't have anything on my lips, so I'm gonna go into the Angelica and Odin's Eye Radioactive Glow Lippy just for a little something something. All right, y'all, so that is everything I have to say about all of my regrets here on YouTube. I hope that you enjoyed the video. I hope it was entertaining at the least, and I love how the look turned out. I am so obsessed with this palette, so I hope you guys enjoyed getting to see another look with it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.